What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chewin The Rag. We are back. We took 2 weeks off. This is insane. So we are back. Before we jump into this episode, there's a couple things. We have a new merch store. So we have the I'm not doing that dude stuff, but there's not the shruggy guy on it. It's just real bland. I just wanted to do something like real minimalist. And we're no longer with Shopify, I think is where I was. We are with Bonfire. So if you go to chewintherag.com, it has all our platform links. It has our merch store link. It has the Discord, all the social medias, it has all of that. So go to chewintherag.com, check out some of the new merch we have. So far, from the people who have bought stuff, it's super comfortable. So I'm glad. I liked what Bonfire was doing. I know bigger podcasts that use it. So I was like, I'll try it out. And so far, I'm happy with it. So go to chewintherag.com. There's a little link. It'll say shop merch here. Just click that. It'll bring you to our Bonfire and take a look at what we have. We're adding to it, taking stuff away, and hopefully just getting a nice little merch store set up. I'm big on merch. I like, band tees and stuff. So I want kind of that same kind of theme for the pod. So you'll see me add things where you're like, that looks like a band shirt. It's like, yeah, you know what? It does, because that's what I'm into. So I'm literally wearing a Run the Jewels hoodie right now. So that's just what I'm into. So really looking forward to the feedback on that and adding to the merch store. And while you're there, click each platform link and make sure you like, rate, subscribe, share, help grow this thing. We're steadily getting better. We've been doing this, we just got a bunch of alerts from like Spotify and YouTube and whatnot that we've been at it a year. So that's cool. We hit the year benchmark. And like I said, it's been a steady little climb here. So that's good. And help me grow this thing and help out the guests. We got a bunch of cool guests coming on soon. So the more I grow, hopefully the more they grow, and kind of just feed off each other. Also, while you are on the web, if you go to wdubby.gg, you can get good, clean, jitter-free energy shakers. They got a bunch of flavors. They got merch. I've got a hat back there that you probably can't see. Using their mouse pad right now. It's all quality stuff. And like I said, jitter-free energy. I'm big on that. You can tell just from this intro, I bounce around. I'm always moving. I'm shaking around. So adding like regular standard caffeine to that probably isn't the best. So using, just regular your canned energy drinks and stuff, that's not for me. I like W because it doesn't give me that feeling of like that scratch and that I need to do something right now. Just good, clean, jitter-free energy. So W.gg and use promo code Chewin, CHEWIN, at checkout for 10% off your order. And without further ado, we are here. Let's see. So our last episode was with Justin March, J March. We did something a little bit different. We talked about like his time in the NFL and mental health in athletes. There was things I wanted to talk about with him that I didn't remember until afterwards. So I'll probably talk about it here, just myself and how I feel about it. And then we got a little segment of just whatnot. So here we are. The big thing I wanted to talk to him about that I fucking somehow managed to skip was Caleb Williams. He's highly touted. He's projected to go first, depending on what the Bears do. But, he's a top 3 pick easy. And people are already on him because, 1, he paints his nails, which a lot of men do nowadays. That doesn't bother me. And 2, he cried after a game, which, it's broadcasted. He's holding something over his face. And he's saying, I think it's his mom's chest or shoulder area. You know what I mean? And he's obviously like covering up because he doesn't want people to see him crying. And yet a camera's panned right on him because, again, highly touted draft guy crying. You're going to put the camera on him. And people are like, oh, that's a sign of weakness. That's something we don't want to see. You don't want to see your star quarterback go out there and he's crying over a game. It's not even a championship and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, come on. Like, do you guys have any passions at all? Like, I've cried, like, I'm not a big crier at all, but like, we were talking about it in the group chat with friends of mine who've played football and whatnot. And like, Like after my final high school game when I knew like I'm probably not gonna go to college or get drafted anywhere, like I cried. And then even me, when you take like a hiatus from, MMA for me, and then you go and like these new guys whoop your ass, you feel pretty bad about yourself. You're like, I could cry right now. Like it happens sometimes. You're just overcome with emotion. And so I feel like, having that where you're under a microscope, you're looking at these guys, you're like, I don't, that's not what I want from my quarterback. And I was like, I think that's exactly what I want from my quarterback. Like, give a fuck, give a damn. I don't need a guy who loses and just trots off the field and he's fucking jersey swapping everybody and shaking hands. No, go cry, be emotional. I don't give a fuck. I'm fine with that. And that's what me and March talked about with Prescott. Like, he's one of the more mentally tough guys and good leader and blah blah blah. But like him being in that locker room, he's actually able to just like kind of shine that perspective on it. And it's like, yeah, I want that guy who's going to be mentally tough, but a part of that is also realizing like that these guys do go through shit and they have emotions and it is what it is. But that was one of the big like I don't even in our messages with me and Jay, like I said just a couple things I want to talk about. I definitely want to talk about this Caleb Williams things because um, at the time that's what was going on. Like that was in headlines when me and him originally scheduled. So the fact that I didn't even bring it up was like, God damn it! Now I got to bring it up now. So I just wanted to touch on that and give my 2 cents about this kid who's, like I said, I mean, what we're going into, we'll be in March next week. In a couple months, you'll see that this kid was drafted top 3 overall, easy. There's no way around it. So he's under a microscope, and it's tough. And I don't know. You gotta wish the best for the kid because fucking people are just ruthless. I don't want to talk about football too much. This isn't a sports pod. We're gonna bring up the Super Bowl because it's been 2 weeks. So the reason I missed time after March's episode was we had my son got sick, my wife got sick. So I was kind of just like here handling things. I didn't really get sick. There was like a 24, 48-hour stomach bug. I guess a lot of people are getting it. And at the end of their sickness, 5 a.m. comes. If that was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 a.m. comes, I throw up all over the place in my room. And I don't puke again, which is weird because they puked like nonstop. But I didn't puke again, but I felt like shit. So I just like rested. And then I developed a cough and a sore throat. And I was like, God damn it, I'm getting a cold. And then I was coughing for like 2 weeks. Like literally, that's why I didn't record for 2 weeks. I could not talk the way I am right now. Even like if I start laughing in this episode, I'll cough. I'm gonna try to control it. You'll see me take like breaths that I typically don't. I forgot to grab a water, so got that going for me. But yeah, so I got what I thought was a cold, and then after 2 weeks, I was like, I'm not getting any better. Like I'm still coughing. My wife's like, I think we should go somewhere, go to urgent care just to get checked up. I don't have a primary setup. Whatever, not a big deal. I do now, but I didn't have a primary setup at the time, and so I go and they do like all the testing, whatever, and it turns out I have bronchitis. So I was like, okay. So I was on a oral steroid thing for like a week or so, and hopefully we're done. I still got like a residual cough, but I'm hoping that's just the end of a virus. Your fucking standard, nothing crazy cough. I don't want it to be anything else because that shit's annoying. I can tolerate being sick and feeling like shit knowing that it's ending, but just nonstop coughing, staying up till 5 a.m. because you can't lay down because you're just fucking that's fuck that. That's awful. So that's why I haven't been here for 2 weeks. Shut up, Ollie. And in that 2 weeks, the Chiefs won another Super Bowl. Niners lost. Fuck the Niners. Fuck the Chiefs. Didn't really care about either. I'm wearing a Dallas hat, so naturally I don't want the NFC team to win. But I don't know. I hate the Niners in regards to like rivalry, but people have made a good point where it's like, well, we can't just not want them to win because we can't win. Like, at some point, we need to want to win. It's like, yeah, that's a good point. We need to just not suck at this point and beat them and move and advance and whatever. But they lost, so who gives a fuck? For the rivalry, I like it. What else? We got a puppy. Got a little boy named Dakota. He's a half pit, half just bully, American bully. Cute little boy. I'll put his picture up here in the YouTube video. He is 7 weeks or so. So it's been fun. We got him literally a day ago. So he's a little terror, but he's cool. He's fun. He kind of does already, obviously this is it just sounds like, oh, you're just hyping your own dog. No, he kind of already tells you what he wants, which is good because I've had dogs where it's like you got to kind of drill it a little bit. He's pretty good about like I can gauge when he needs to eat. I can gauge when it's time to play, when it's time to sleep. Like I said, it's only been like 24 hours, so it's you know, in a week from now, you can be like, "Fuck this dog." Not literally, but it can change. But right now, really easy. The two dogs. Scout's our senior boy. You'll constantly hear me go, "Dog died." Sorry, because he's hacking up a lung. Uh, Dakota likes him a lot because he's furry. He's an Australian Shepherd. Dakota loves like chewing on soft blankets and stuff. I constantly have to pull him away. So naturally, he's like pawing and nibbling on the furs of Scout. And Scout's a pretty reserved, quiet dog. So it's pretty funny because it's this really loud bark that you don't really get to hear often. And Dakota brings it right out of him. So that's been fun to deal with. And Ollie, come here. Come here. Up, 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 up. Come on, up, up. Oliver is the Pitbull Lab mix who I feel like Dakota's going to take after more. He's high energy, super playful, really nice dog. So I feel like that's who Dakota's going to take after with that. I don't know what my son is on about right now. I think he's just playing with Dakota. Okay, I think we're good. I thought he got hurt. he It's funny because this is his puppy, so when I was younger I had a puppy and grew up with him. So it's gonna be pretty cool to watch my son have his puppy that he gets to grow up with, whereas Oliver was, Oliver and Scout were both adult dogs by the time Theo was born. So it's going to be a lot of chaos. It's going to be a lot of fun. And on top of this, we're also still doing the upstairs, which I'll put on my Instagram, on the Chewin The Rag Pod Instagram, which chewintherag.com has that link. You can see like the update pictures. I know I talked about like getting a permanent space and whatnot. We're still working up there. We got the carpet all ripped up. We got the paneling ripped off the walls. We got the one wall completely plastered with compound, so we can prime it, paint that. We didn't want it to have that panel look, but we didn't want to peel the panel because there's a lot of wires and whatnot behind it. Long story. So we filled in the joints. We're hoping it doesn't crack. If it does, it does, but it shouldn't. And then we're gonna prime it, paint it, so you'll get that whole little update, and just a whole lot of movement in this house for the past month in regards to getting everything ready, getting the dog, and being sick, and everything. So that's why I haven't been here. For those that are still here and listening along, thank you. I try not to miss episodes. I think I'm pretty good with putting on social media when I am going to miss an episode, so it's not really a surprise. But even then, I don't love to do it. We've been very consistent. If you look at the episodes that we have and whatnot, so I don't love missing episodes, and I don't plan to miss too many. And we've been here a year, so we're still having fun. That's what really matters. I So a UFC fighter, I forget who it was, put on Twitter. He said like, "What's the best advice you received?" And I was like, I'm gonna steal this." I mean, I told him I was like, "I'm gonna steal this. I'm gonna put it on the pod." Not that he gives a fuck, but he's a smaller UFC guy, so he gave me a thumbs up. Whatever, I don't know. But I asked random people. I just put it out there like, "Hey, what's the best advice you've ever received?" For myself, how I answered it, Ray Harrington, who's a comedian. I think I talked about this before, so if I did, bear with me. If you're new here, then here you go. So I used to do stand up, and I hosted for Ray Harrington one day. Big snowstorm, packed room still, a lot of fun, right in Saratoga. And as the host, it goes like you, and then the feature, and then the headliner. Just 3 guys. So I forget who featured. Really funny guy though, and it's gonna bother me that I can't shout him out, but it is what it is. So I hosted, did my time up front, and then at the end of my set, I said, "Are you guys ready for your first comedian tonight?" And I introduced. Was his name Josh? Was it Kincaid? I forget. But I introduced Josh, we'll say, and then brought him on, and then I went and sat with Ray. And Ray was like, "Hey man, that was really funny stuff. Can I give you some advice?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I thought it was gonna be like joke writing advice or joke telling advice. Try not to ramble because, as you guys know, with this pod, that's all I do. But he goes, when you're introducing a comedian to come up after you as a host, don't say. He said, don't say, "Are you guys ready for your first comedian?" He goes, "You are this room's first comedian. You're a comic. That's what you do. That's who you are. Don't introduce the next guy as their first comedian. You were their first comedian tonight, and you'll be the comedian throughout the night as the host." And I was like, all right, that's really good advice. And it stuck with me because, like, that doesn't really just have to apply to comedy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like saying I'm a podcaster. I'd say, like, I have a pod, but, like, and I don't even really like talking about it to people in real life. Like, I really don't. But I do, and it is something I work on. It is something I do, and it is something that does take time out of my day to not only do this part of it, but then edit it. And I gotta make sure the house is clear because if I don't, it's fucking chaos in the background. So it is stuff that affects me, my personal life, my wife, my house. So I should, just say it like, yeah, I have this. This is what I do. Check it out. Check out the merch. Don't be like, yeah, it's just something I do. Like, no, it's something you do. Like, wear it, say it. So I feel like that was good advice. I feel like that's even something that, like, you know, it's you can just apply to whatever. Like, just whatever you're doing, whether it's your 9 to 5, your hobby, your 9 to 5 and your hobby, your business, just go in and, like, own that shit. So I feel like that was really good advice by Ray to do that because it wasn't just about being a comedian that night. It was just like, own your shit. And it's like, yeah, you should own your shit. The second word of advice that stuck with me was November of 2012, a week, not even, probably 5 days from Thanksgiving. My grandmother told me, "Don't be such a fucking retard with a T your whole life, you asshole." And that stuck with me because you shouldn't. And I have. Um, Not, in the sense of making fun of those, but in the sense of I just kind of fuck off and dick around, and it's just what I do. And I probably shouldn't my whole life, but I'm probably going to my whole life, and it makes things fun. So yeah, I like that 2012, I just graduated high school, and she said that. I graduated high school a year before that. So fresh out of high school, getting told to stop fucking around, getting called an asshole, and 31 years old, and I'm still fucking around, and I'm an asshole. So Graham, it did not work. You're no longer with us, so you can't hear that, but it did not work. I still get work done, and I still do my shit. I'm still a good dad and husband, so whatever, dude. It is what it is. Some of the other pieces of advice that people sent through were, well, this was Jake trying to come up with a sentence, which is always fun. "I feel better failing while trying rather than failing while not trying." That's not advice. I don't know if you were saying, like, you will feel better if you fail while trying rather than not trying at all. That's advice. But, like, you can't really fail while not trying because you didn't try. There's nothing to fail. You failed to start, but, like, that's not failing. Failing while trying is, I get where the advice is here, Jake, and it is good advice. That you should at least try. You can't fail if you don't try, and if you don't try, then what was the point? So I do get that, and I'm a trier. I've talked about it on here before. I've tried music, tried comedy, tried MMA, I'm trying podcasting. I've tried streaming. I guess we can even count that. I still do that a little bit, but it'll be more so probably once everything's a little settled here. But I get that 100%. I'm a trier and failer nonstop. So that is good advice. I won't shit on the advice. I'll just shit on your wording because you're just not good with words. I don't know what to tell you. Another one was probably he said, this is probably the best advice I got was don't worry about what other people are doing. Focus on yourself and your immediate circle. Be kind to everybody, but don't expect it in return. Pretty generic, pretty good advice. I mean, you can't really argue any of that. Really, just I tell my son, he's what 4 now, and I'm constantly like, buddy, just worry about yourself. Just do your own thing. Don't worry about what that person's doing. Don't worry about that because you spend all your time worried about what that person's doing, then you're going to spend all your time looking at what that person has and what you don't have and what you want to have. And it's like, dude, just focus on what you have, focus on what you want, focus on what you're doing, and that's it. Like, don't get caught up in other people's bullshit. I've got caught up in other people's bullshit. It's not fun. Anybody who's done that is like you're constantly looking at somebody else's shit, and it's not worth it. Be kind to everybody, but don't expect it in return. That's pretty straightforward too. I would say I'm pretty kind to everybody. I'm an asshole in the sense of like sarcasm, and mostly to friends, to strangers. I'm I'm overall definitely a nice guy. I wouldn't say I'm not. I'm not really abrasive. I hold the door. I'll say thank you if you hold the door. You know, it is what it is. I like looking at maps of the universe with an arrow pointing to relatively nothing and a quote saying something along the lines of "Don't take life too serious." If you know me, I do not take life too serious. I don't know if I take life any serious, and I probably should, but that is. I don't even know if he was. I don't know if he misread and he said, "What's your favorite quote?" or which, but it's true, I guess. You know, I don't take life too serious. Anybody who knows me knows that. So I'll take that. That's solid advice. And then Zach said, "This is a tough question because AA fucks have great advice." Yes, Zach. Those meetings are full of good advice, I'm sure. So I believe you. Best advice he's gotten was move a muscle, change a thought. That's pretty good. I think that's just really an oversimplified way of saying like take the first step. You know, if you take your first step, that's how you can change your thought process, change your trajectory, make yourself, you know, into what you might want to be, change your surroundings, whatever it might be, but move a muscle, change a thought. That's a good one. Alcoholism centers in the mind. Can't speak on that, but I've heard, you know, he sent me a thing from Steve-O talking about like how alcoholism is the disease. People think like you have alcoholism because you drink, but that's more or less the cure. It's like, so I think that's on the same wavelength of alcoholism is centers in the mind. It all starts here, and then you can feed it. I guess is I don't know anything about it. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I do because that would be ignorant. And then people are gonna do what they want, and there's really nothing you can do to stop them. That's I think that goes along the same way of like focus on yourself, focus on your circle, make sure you and your immediate shit's good because you know if you even if it's not focusing on other people, I'm trying to pet you. Even if you're not focusing on other people, if you're trying to change what somebody's doing or alter their reality or you know, or just make them something they're not, can't always do that. So yeah, I get that. I get that 100%. But I think that's all we got for the just random advice segment here that we decided to do. I just wanted to, you know, I didn't want to come here after 2 weeks and not have nothing. So figured I would just put a question out there, put a feeler out there and see who got back to me. And got a couple tidbits. If you guys need a nugget of advice, if you guys are going through something, maybe one of those will stick. Maybe alcoholism is in the center of your mind. I don't know. I don't know what you're going through. The what else? What else? Me and Jake have been arguing music because it's all we talk about. Kanye has an album, Vultures One, I think it's called. I'm a Kanye fan. You know, saying that in 2024 is probably, you know, frowned upon. But I've always liked Kanye. I saw Kanye in the third grade, so the Kanye fan. The Usher, like the halftime show where it was Usher, Lil Jon, Ludacris. I saw literally them guys with Kanye in third grade. I saw the halftime show already. So in the third grade, that's what I saw. And listening to this album, and I feel like it's not even just this album. I feel like it's just the state of like rap and hip hop now. It's like I don't feel like it's a good or great album, but it's fun. It is fun, and I feel like that's where rap is now. I feel like it's not about putting out a classic. I feel like it's not about uh putting together like this born or putting together like a Biggie or a Tupac or something that's going to be remembered as a classic. I think it's more so about like putting out something to vibe to, something that's fun, something that's just musically you can listen to with the windows down and enjoy. And I feel like that's what this album is. It has skips. It definitely has skips. I'm not gonna say it doesn't. I've skipped actually most of it. I probably think there's like a handful of songs that I could actually listen to, and I'm like, I'm enjoying this. But overall, it's not that great. It's just a fun album, and that's what you guys are getting. I guess that's me adding to this very solid, great pod. We've got some talks on some guests that one I definitely won't say because it's got a lot has to come together for it, but it's a really big name. We got Sam Alvey, former UFC fighter. I think he's with Karate Combat now, and he does content on YouTube and everything now. So Sam Alvey, I think we talked, and he says he's down. So now it's just about when you're punching up, and you're fucking, out of your weight class, and you're reaching out to guys like him and Jay March and the name I'm not gonna say that I almost just did, but when you're punching up at these guys and they agree to it, then it's like, okay, well, my schedule, I can go do the shit with you guys tomorrow. We have to figure out your shit. So I don't love teasing these names and putting them out there because they're busy. They're way busier than I am. I work a 9 to 5, and I can give you my whole fucking week layout pretty much, minus anything that might come up, and say, hey, any of these days work for me. What works for you? I can't really do that with these guys. So, but Sam Alvey, I think that'll be a lot of fun. He's a super nice guy and really interesting guy. So he's somebody that I'm really hoping we can get in the next couple weeks. And then the other guest that I won't say, really hoping I can get him in the next couple months. And yeah, really, if you guys have any people in your life that you think would be interesting, I'll talk to anybody, but I have to also be interested. So if they have like a business that's interesting or something that they do, a hobby, Dark Horse 6, who was on the pod and I bring up constantly, he's I don't know, he wanted to come back on. We'll do something soon. He's doing woodworking stuff now, which is really cool. So if you go to his social medias and go check that out, I don't know if he's still streaming, but he is still doing something. And like I said, if you're doing something that's interesting, I'll promote it. So it's pretty cool what he's doing. He's getting into woodworking. I think he wants to get into like making the wooden flags and stuff that people are doing. And he's posting like his progress on social media and whatnot. So definitely check that out. And if you have anybody who has a business, a hobby, pro skater, musician, art, as in like legit like painting, like artists, you refer them to me. I got a bunch of referrals that I've reached out to and haven't really got any dates locked. And then I've got my own, like Sam Alvey and this other guy that I'm trying to get. So I'm trying to fill up. Like I said, we've been at it a year. We've been pretty consistent. We've gone through changes in regards to equipment and whatnot. So we're trying to constantly get better. Next will be a camera that I enjoy because I don't really love this one. But I think that's it for me. I think we'll wrap this up. It was good to be back. Sounds like I'm losing my voice. I should probably call it a day. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of Chewin The Rag. Again, chewintherag.com. Make sure you like, rate, share, subscribe, follow on all social media platforms. Dubby.gg. Thank you, Dubby. Use promo code Chewin at checkout, and we will see you guys next week.